When you're getting ready to start your wedding photography business, it's a good idea to have a website. You can start building one once you have a business name, what you've decided to use as far as your name versus a company name. The biggest and best thing to do is to start with a website once you have that name. I could teach an entire lesson. It would take months to talk about how to build a website and like what to do, going into detail, how to like make things easier and present yourself a little bit in more detail. But today I just kind of want to talk about the generalistics of why to have a website and how to kind of get it up and running and what are the bigger things that you need on your website to be really going. So the first thing is starting a website, right? There's several different ways that you can go about this. You can use you can build it on your own after you buy your domain name. You can use different types of programs that have already been set up, like WordPress. That's a little more complicated, and you can kind of get into some templates that they have that might be easier. There's also companies like Squarespace, which is something that we use for my photography business. And then from there, there's other websites that are specific to photographers, like Zenfolio. Zenfolio is what I have used in the past and has been fantastic. Today I use a combination of Squarespace and Zenfolio. The big thing is that your website needs to have a portfolio so you can show people, very concise. It needs to have a contact page so that you'll be able to interact with new customers. It's also helpful to have links to like a Yelp or a Wedding Wire or The Knot if you get involved with those, which we can talk more about later. And then one thing that people are really getting into now that there's a digital space is having a link to Facebook, but also having a gallery view, something that's password protected, something that your client can go to check out their photos, and also something that they can pick their selects and their favorites. Zenfolio does the best job. I couldn't stress that enough how much I love that website. I swear I'm not being sponsored. But they will house your RAWs, they will house your JPEGs, and if you pay enough money to them to have a subscription for a year, you can ditch all of their logos and build out your own looking website. So it looks like you're separated, it looks like you're professional, and it really gets you a really good presentation of after shooting the wedding and even before with your page. I think now Zenfolio will allow you to build your entire website out. There's cheaper options. I think there might be a free trial that you might be able to check out. But that's really more of a plug-and-play website that really works well if you're just getting started and you don't know how to run the internet. It can be a scary place. WordPress gets a little complicated, but it's very doable and easy. Squarespace is also very plug-and-play and is nice, but it does have some restrictions. Having a combination of that with a Zenfolio is probably your best option. Something important to keep in mind about when you're building your website is that it represents you. That you have a portfolio on there that's going to really showcase who you are as a photographer and your work. The biggest and first thing that people are going to go to is your website. When they hear about you from a friend or they see a photo, they're going to click on your website, and that's their first impression of you. So you want it to be who you are, and you want it to show your best work. Don't put photos you're not proud of on there. Put photos that you are very proud of and that represent you as a person and as a photographer. Because it's a first impression, you want it to also be very easily accessible. You don't want it to be complicated and be all over the place. The biggest thing for me is to have a slideshow, a portfolio on the first page, splash page, and then maybe have tabs of about who you are and maybe a links page and a contact page. That could be the same page. One thing that you can avoid is putting the prices on. I've seen photographers put their price lists on if they like. Sometimes it scares potential customers away very quickly if they see how much money that you're actually charging. It also depends on what level you're at as far as prices. One thing for me is I don't put prices on there. I say, please contact me for a price list or something like that because it gets the ball rolling and it gets you talking to somebody. Because you want to kind of put your personality out there and start to talking to someone without having it just to be cut off immediately. So I don't suggest putting your price list on there. Have a PDF of your price lists and that are ready to go, and also offer a way to connect to someone. So that way when they email you, then you send them the price list and you've already started a dialogue with your customer that you can then either talk them down with or really just kind of engage as a personal level. That's kind of a choice as a business person if you want to be connecting with your customers or not.